So we'll start with the next module, feature collection chart. So same code, we have our point location, and we want to now compute the area in a 50-kilometer buffer zone. Same thing we did, but now we want to increase the region. And again, we run into this error. So what do we do? So we say we cannot do this. This charting thing is not available. But we have our image. We know how to run reducers. Let's go and do the reduction ourselves. So let's say we want to take our area image with class. This is a 2-band image, and I want to compute stats. So I'll use the reduce region function. What reducer we want? We want to sum up all the pixel areas. Okay. But we have 2-band image. We want to sum pixel areas grouped by class. So we'll run a group reducer. Group field is 1. So 2nd band, and we'll name the group band classification. The geometry will be the buffer here, scale 10. And since we are using a reducer, we have this option, right? We can specify max pixels. We don't have to be limited by 10 million pixels. So I'll just set it to a very high number. Also, we can use tile scale. Tile scale allows you to use more machines and distribute your computation to more machines. So default tile scale is 1. So it'll use, say, n number of tiles. If you say 2, it'll use 4 times n number of machines to compute this. So I'll set it to 16, which is the highest value here. So I'll use 16 times 4 times the original machine. So you'll have a lot more computation resources that will use to compute this. And now let's print this. So you can see now I finished my output finished, and now I have this output. So it says classification 0, sum is this. This is the area. Okay, so we got our values and we are done, right? We have a result. But how do I create a plot out of this? I want to see this as a chart. So for creating the chart, I have only a few options. I can create a feature collection and use any of those functions. I can create an array and use this function. And that's it, right? So what would I do? So my go-to advice is to always convert your results into a feature collection. This will allow you to export it as well as use the charting functions. So let's write some code to process this data. You can see this is a list of dictionaries, and I'll show you the function to process this data. We'll take this map of function. Each one will get a dictionary. We'll extract the classification value. So this is 0, class 0, 1, 2, 3. The value of the sum, which is this value. We'll also say this is the class number, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. We'll say I have a class number names here. I want to look up the class name from this. So I can use that in my charting functions. So I'll also assign a class name. We'll also assign a class color. So we can use this later on. And we'll just return a feature out of this. And we map this. Once we map this, we will get a feature collection. And now we can print and see the result. So same data. So we had the same data that came out of group reducer. We just now turned it into a feature collection. The output of a group reducer is a dictionary with one key called groups. So I'm first extracting the groups here, which will be the list of dictionaries for each class. So again, it's a kind of nested object that you get. So we're just extracting the data out of this. So we have a feature collection with features. You can see each feature has some values, right? You can say I have an area, class name, and color. So we went from an image to this feature collection, and now we can use a charting function. So let's just create a chart. And by feature, we have 8 features. Let's print 8 things. So this is our class area features. X property will be the class name. So I'll print the name of the class, and Y will be the area. So remember this computation, the charting function could not finish this computation. But because we use a reducer, we were able to finish this. Well, let's just set the chart type. So set chart type to be column chart. In Earth Engine, Google Charts tools, this bar charts are called the column charts. So you can see now I have this nice chart about all the different areas of class that I created as bar chart. I can also change it to a bar chart. The bar chart will be your horizontal bar chart that you see in other packages. Right, so bar chart will be like horizontal bar chart. We had to do a lot more work, but I think all of you, since you've been using Earth Engine, once you get comfortable with this, you should be able to just write code like this intuitively. So now when I was beginner, I used to always copy paste and try to do this. Now, after a while, I just know how to process the data, right? I have a list, I'll map a function, I'll do this and so on, right? So again, it takes a little bit more work, but then you are able to now go from a point. So I can now click anywhere in the world and I get this chart, right? I don't have to export or anything. I'm able to do this without any workarounds. One of the most common questions, if you were on the Earth Engine user forum, before I created this course was, how do I create a pie chart in Earth Engine? And there was no clear answer because pie charts are only supported by when you have a feature correction chart. When you have a table, you can create a pie chart. So if you try to do this with the previous example, this charting function, it won't work. But now we have a chart, a table, feature correction, we can set the type to be a pie chart. So we get a nice pie chart showing the distribution of class. And again, you get this percentage values, which is also quite helpful. Now this chart works, but again, if you were building an app and you say, I want to now say, add it to my map here. So you can say you can make it better, but I can say I have an app and I want to display this. These colors do not match my map colors, right? The class, whatever this is a cropland, but my cropland is pink in my map. Can I make the colors of my pies the same as my colors here? So again, my map is more easily interpretable. And that takes a little bit more work. To do this, we want to set an option with the color list of colors. So what are the different colors that are available here? We can say we have the class area FC and we have the colors here. So these are the 8 colors that are available in that region. So we can set some options. So we can say set options. We have some different things. We can also have some pie slice options, and we have a color list here. So this color list has to be the list of colors for the classes that are present in this area. So it has to be this list. So I'm just going to copy this for now. I'm going to copy this list and use this here. So this is in this region that I chose, there are these 8 classes and these are the colors. And you can see my chart and my map color matches. So cropland is pink, urban is built and so on. Yes. So the list of colors here has to be in the order of the classes that are present in my collection and only for the classes that are there. If I give a list of 11 colors here, it will not be correct here. So that becomes tricky. That for a static chart like this is okay. But now, what if I'm building an app? User can click anywhere, right? They may have only 1 class or 2 class. I have to generate this list dynamically. And if I try using this, I have a list of colors here. Why can't I just paste it here instead of this? Why can't I just use the colors here? What's the problem here? Yes. So this one is an EE object. It's an EE.list. This one is a client-side function. The UI functions run in your browser. They need all the options that are sent to the Google Chart API. They need to be JavaScript list. So we have this is an EE list. We need to be a JavaScript list. That's why when I copy pasted this, you can see when I click and I can click JSON, this will give me the JavaScript representation of this list. And I pasted it, it worked because it's a JavaScript list. So I cannot use an EE object inside of my charting functions. So how do I move this? Okay, I just tab. So select this, and if I want to select this and tab. Also, since we are talking about this, one very useful shortcut that you might find, I find it all the time. Let's say I want to add one character at the beginning. Maybe I want to add a hash, right? I want to add this. So I have to do this single all the time, right? I can use Alt, press my Alt key and draw a line like this. And now I can add a hash everywhere. Right? So quite helpful. So that's us holding the Alt key and selecting things. Okay, so this is a server-side object. I need a client-side object. How do I convert a server-side object to client-side? What do? We use evaluate. So it's an alternate to getinfo, but evaluate runs in the background. It doesn't block the UI. It runs in the background. It has to be attached to a function. So we have to give it a function as an input. And this function will be called whenever the input is ready. So we'll write a function that will get the output of this. We'll get a color list, which will be, when the function is called, it'll say my evaluation is done. I've got the value, will be called with this. And now inside of this, we'll write our function, do the chart. And now we'll use the color list here. And so this will not block my UI. It'll run whenever the evaluation is done. It'll generate the chart and print that. And now my code is such that it can drop a point anywhere in the world and my chart colors will be correct because it'll use it dynamically. Like I can drop my point here and run this. It'll know what colors are present in that region. It'll generate a list, evaluate this, and use that list in my output. So doing this is something that once you learn, you need to always say whatever. When you work with Chart API, sometimes you have to go between this client and server side, because when you're doing the processing, it all happens on the server side. The chart options are all JavaScript because Earth Engine will send those to the chart tools API and say, here is the data table, here is the options, generate a chart for me. And that has to be JavaScript. That's why we have to do this conversion.